Second question. Climate Minister Chris Bowen says replacing coal-fired power stations with nuclear would cost $387 billion. Do you think this is true?
Well, I just think Chris Bowen, frankly, is unhinged on all of this at the moment. Chris Bowen did numbers before the election, and he promised Australians on 97 occasions that he would bring power prices down by $275. I mean, has anyone's power bill gone down by $275 under Chris Bowen? No, they've gone up dramatically the other way, a 16% increase year on year, and the prices will only continue to go higher under Labor because he's now proposing rolling out 28,000 kilometres of poles and wires at the cost of $100 billion plus. And analysts talk about Chris Bowen's plan costing between $1.2 and $1.5 trillion. Now, if you look at what's happening in Canada, where 60% of their energy source comes from nuclear, they pay half the electricity price that we do here. There are 50 countries in the world either using or looking to use nuclear technologies, the latest nuclear technologies, which are zero emissions. So why would those countries, including the United Kingdom, the United States, France, Canada, why would those countries see the latest nuclear technology as a viable way and a credible way to get to net zero by 2050, but Chris Bowen doesn't? I mean, Chris Bowen's got his head in the sand when it comes to nuclear power, and what he's worried about is the internal dynamic within the Labor Party. He's not worried about the national interest. I want to see power prices come down in our country. I don't want to see them continue to go up every month, every quarter under Labor. And so I don't believe that Chris Bowen has a credible path to get to net zero by 2050 without the use of latest technology nuclear. It's zero emissions, it firms up renewables, and frankly, I just don't think you could take Chris Bowen, a bloke who used to be the Assistant Treasurer in the Rudd Gillard years and bought you grocery watch and fuel watch and cash for clunkers. The bloke was a disaster when he was last a minister in government, and he's just got worse under Mr Albanese. So I wouldn't take anything he says as credible, and I think he's been, frankly, I think he's been embarrassed by the attempt today to discredit nuclear. I've not seen somebody more incompetent than Chris Bowen in recent years, and to trot out the figures that he has today, he's proposing that there be installed 22,000 solar panels a day and 40 wind turbines a month, plus 28,000 kilometres worth of new poles and wires. Everything else that goes into that mix costs up to $1.5 trillion. So I'm hardly going to take an economics lecture from Chris Bowen.